Alright, hello. My name is Matt. I'm a Vermont tow owner operator up in New England. A very small company, and we're going to talk tow trucks today. I kind of started a little video, little video thing to start knowing what you need to know about maybe what you should think about before buying a tow truck, which is the first videos I did. Now that you've decided to buy a tow truck, maybe you need to know what kind or what you should think about. Again, this is more my opinion, what I've learned over the years, some of the functions I've seen beneficial, but hopefully this just can help somebody make a decision or not make a decision. Let's start with tow trucks. First of all, we're going to start with what kind of towing we're going to do. I'll start with like private property and stuff, and your basic car towing, non-emergency, non-recovery style work. Repo work, private property work. A lot of those guys like short wheelbase. A lot of them are running two-wheel drive, snatch style trucks with either one winch or no winch. A lot of these are auto loaders, again, short, usually 1 ton or a little bigger, up into the 550 range. If my phone rings, I apologize. I'll pause the video and try to continue on. But anyways, we'll talk tow trucks for those guys. I mean, there's not a whole lot that you need on a truck for that. You basically need a wheel lift. Maybe you have a set of dollies on there to grab a Subaru all-wheel drive, Audi, something like that. But mainly you're going to want just your basic of trucks. You don't need a lot of extras. You don't need a lot of extra winching power and stuff like that. Now we're going to get into some of the recovery talk. We're going to stay on the wrecker side of things. When it comes to wreckers, I don't relate my wreckers to going to a private property lot, snatching cars, trying to be quick. My wreckers are more for recoveries. You've got things in ditches, over banks, needed to be lifted up, and there's a wide variety of ways you can configure your wrecker. We tend to like the longer wheelbases for towing reasons, keeps a little more weight on the ground. We'll talk about axle weights and stuff like that in a later video. But are you going to get a recovery or a snatch truck? Snatch truck I already explained. In the recovery, you can get them in a wide variety of ranges, prices, all sorts of stuff. One thing you're going to want to think about, do you want 1 or 2 lines? 2 lines, you can utilize, 1, a little more pulling power, 2, different angles. You can snatch block off other things, kind of gives you a little more options. You can stabilize your load while you're readjusting a winch line, using that other winch line. There's a couple of reasons why I have 2 winches, and that's a lot of it is the recovery work. The booms and the wheel lifts. You can get booms and wheel lifts either integrated or independent. The integrated wheel lift is where the boom and the wheel lift are connected together, which is basically, the whole unit comes down all at once, it flops down, it may flip out, and then you can go grab a car, and then again, the whole unit picks up, and then you kind of move along your way with that. The independent ones have a wheel lift that moves independently by itself, and then a boom that moves by itself. I, with my smaller trucks, like the independent ones because that gives me more kind of lifting. If I have to get something over a guardrail, over a stump or something, I can put my wheel lift down, it gets it out of my way, or it gets me under something so I can get really close to it, and then I can use the boom in a separate fashion, and or my wheel lift is then stabilizing the truck for the lift. A lot of the integrated trucks might have hydraulic stiff legs, stuff like that. A lot of the new ones come with that anyways. My smaller wrecker is an older truck, does not have the stiff legs, but it is independent. When you get into having the integrated boom, I've had them, and I've had it to where if I go to lift something, I lift a car up over something, then it's coming back into that wheel lift that's part of that boom, and it just doesn't really work for my plan. And the integrateds have their benefits, especially with lifting power, center of gravity, again, towing reasons. But as far as recovery work, that's what I got. What kind of wheel lift are you going to have on your truck? There are many options, different brands. You know, you can get a spoon set up where, you know, it's a big spoon that kind of flops behind your wheel. You can get the auto loaders, you can get L-bars. There's a drop-in style, I think Vulcan makes, that I prefer, especially dealing with wrecks and flat tires. The spoons, I tend to fight with flat tires and stuff like that. You know, when we're dealing with wrecks, there's a lot of flat tires. And then, you know, dollies, you put dollies on them is for emergencies, so you can grab all-wheel drives and stuff like that. We have flatbeds, so my use for dollies has not been, I guess, on the hot list. We're gonna get another set. I've had a couple sets, but we just either sell them with a truck or something else happens. But what you're gonna keep for equipment, what you're running, what you're gonna do for jobs. If you're just doing snatch work, I mean, we need a set of straps on there. You know, maybe a strap to help you get something out of a parking spot. But if you're doing recovery work, I mean, you're gonna need, you know, extra line, chains, recovery straps, you know, snatch blocks, and just a wide range of other equipment on the truck. And again, we'll go over that in another video. I'll pull everything out of one of my trucks and we'll go over that. I'm gonna also try to connect with this video, and maybe it'll just be a part 2, but I'm gonna try to connect. We're gonna go out and do a couple videos, you know, walk around the trucks that I have. And anyways, we'll roll on to the flatbeds. When you're thinking about a flatbed, what would you, or a rollback, what would you consider useful on a flatbed? You know, obviously you need toolbox, you need storage space, you need a wide variety of straps, chains, and stuff like that, because you could carry a wide variety of items with a rollback. Do you want aluminum? Do you want steel? What are you going to be dragging onto that bed? What kind of area are you living? Do you have a lot of salt? You got to worry about rust. Maybe you want to go aluminum for that reason. We have one of each. I just find that it's nice to have both options. One's aluminum, one's steel. The steel one does a little bit heavier duty stuff. I don't have to worry about ball joints and stuff like that, gouging into stuff, or putting skates under everything that might put a scratch in our aluminum bed. And then length, what are you going to order for a bed, or what are you going to look for in a used truck? You know, there's a lot of old used stuff in the 1 ton and smaller areas in the 80s that are 17-foot beds. They're almost too small to really do anything. In my opinion, again, that's what I started with though, 17-foot bed. So who can I tell anybody to not start with a 17-foot bed? It's just my personal experience now. I've learned you couldn't get a lot of things on it. I prefer to have a minimum of a 19 on a smaller truck. It just makes it a little more useful. I probably won't ever buy a truck with a smaller than a 19-foot bed. I like old trucks. I drive an old truck. My guys drive new trucks. I just like old trucks. What kind of weight you're gonna need? They make decks from 7,000 pounds to, you know, 40,000 pounds depending on what size. But when you're talking regular car towing, you're probably going to look at, you know, anything from a 7,000 to a 12,000. It seems like the 12,000 pounds are making it to the medium duty trucks more than what they used to. Mainly there's different options and brands and all that stuff. I'm not going to get too much into recommending one or the other. I mean, I only have one real thing when it comes to side pullers, but we'll go over that later. On your flatbed, what are you going to need? Are you just moving cars around? Just going to the dealership, loading up this, loading up that? You're going to put a second car on the tag? What are you moving? Are you going to need to move equipment? Are you going to need heavier duty items? Are you going to be needing to pick up anything? So I mean, are you going to be using your flatbed for recovery work as well? One of the things that makes a flatbed pretty versatile in the recovery market is a side puller. There's a lot of different makes. Some new ones are coming out. We've always had the Jaredans as far as the side pullers go, just because of the ease of flopping from one side to the other. There's some other makes coming out though that are pretty easy. Dual-Tech has one with 2 winches, one out each way, which I think is pretty cool. We'll move on from the side puller. You're gonna need a crane on there. You know, some of these trucks have all sorts of, you can get a high-up knuckle boom crane. They got speed cranes for recovery work. I haven't seen a speed crane in a while. and getting into the recovery work and stuff like that, they also make flatbeds that, you know, do 180 degrees off to the side to get over the guardrail. I personally have not been leaning towards one, mainly because I just too many moving parts for me to buy one of those trucks. What size truck? Again, we're going to get that in both areas. What size truck? What are you going to be towing? How much weight you're going to need? The weight is going to be important, especially when you go from being in the light duty to medium duty trucks, and then your registered weight or the GVW of your truck. Obviously, and I don't know how many people know this, but as soon as you go over 26,001 pounds or whatever, you are in a CDL range of truck. Now they derate a lot of these trucks to keep them under 26,000 pounds, but at that point you put too much weight, you're over 26,000 pounds. What are you going to tow? Are you going to tow one truck, one car in the back? Are you going to go overweight? So you really got to kind of watch what you're buying for violations. You don't want to build a truck that's too small either. I mean, they make, you know, you can buy an F550 and you can, you know, build it all up, put a steel bed on it, do everything like that, but then it's a 19,500 GVW truck. What are you actually putting on that without overloading your axles? And, you know, it comes down to wear and tear, and sometimes your area just doesn't permit a big truck, so you end up with a 550, and that's what you use. You know, if that's what's versatile. We had 550s. I don't knock them. I use them for the small stuff, but as soon as we got into the big stuff, it kind of got to where I didn't feel safe, so we just traded it in and got a bigger truck and just got rid of the 550s. The wreckers, like I said, we have a light duty, we have a medium duty, and a heavy duty, and we just use each truck for each area of its expertise, basically. I guess that concludes this video about talking about trucks. You know, if this helps, just keep an eye out for some other videos. I'm going to kind of take a few shots of my trucks, just kind of to show you what I've got, what I've kind of started with. I'll try to get some pictures and make a little more informative video about some of my history. I appreciate you guys watching. I've just started making these videos this morning. I told some people I was going to do it weeks ago. The sun is now up. This is kind of the time I have to do it. Again, I apologize for my poor quality. I'm just trying to get the information out there, and I hope that it's helpful. I'm hoping to show these videos to other people, so I'm not taking so many people out to lunch, I guess. I've taken quite a few people out to lunch to talk about towing, and maybe this can save a lot of people a lot of energy. You know, some of the guys I've taken out to lunch have jumped in and they're doing great, and other guys decided not to do it. I'm kind of in that same boat with the auto transport. Am I going to do it? Am I not going to do it? You know, I'm looking for the experts' help on my end. I deal with auto transport intel. I like their videos. Jay and Ty do a great job kind of explaining that stuff, and you know, they have like a consultation thing that they do. But I mean, just watch as many videos as you can on what you're trying to do, and then try to make an educated decision. I hope that this helps you decide whether or not you even want to buy a tow truck. My heart's into it. I'm into it forever. My sister says I call my tow company my baby. It's probably ruined some relationships, but this is where I'm at. I like this work. I like where the business is at and where it's going. And again, I hope this helps. Thank you.